Good evening and thanks so much for tuning in. This is The Money Show on ET Now and my name is Alex Matthew. It's been a torrid start to the trading week for equity markets here in India. And if you are a long-term investor, you will have had to brace when you looked at your portfolio, if you did indeed look at your portfolio. But as the experts on this channel keep telling you, you need to zoom out and take a longer view of your investments. We'll get to a few big voices on how to manage your equity portfolio. But first, we're going to focus on a conversation on real estate and specifically on residential real estate. It's certainly a space that has been heating up, and we'll get you the latest trends from NoBroker, which has released its latest report. And we'll also get you a conversation with a fund manager, specifically Pankaj Tibrewal of Kotak Mutual Fund in our Meet Your Fund Manager segment. Let's start, however, with the first conversation with Saurabh Garg, who is co-founder and chief business officer at NoBroker.com. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for taking the time. First of all, this report that you've just released, it had some insights on prices of residential real estate, and I think they've been inching up. What are the latest trends that you can tell us about, and do you see anything that you can tell us from 2022 expectations?
Thanks, Alex, for having me on the show. So firstly, I think we're seeing a huge interest from buyers. Almost 84% people believe that this is the right time to buy a property. I think various factors have contributed to this, whether it is lower interest rates, forced savings, security of just buying the house. In the last 1 year, what you've seen is that the prices have increased by almost 4 to 5% in major cities. And almost 76% people are saying that they believe that property is the best investment option. So we believe that it's a multi-year upward cycle in real estate, and we will see a price increase not only in 2022, but in the many years to come. It's a great time to actually invest in a property. And having said that, we're also seeing some bit of inflation in the rentals also. So people who are looking to invest in a property for rentals, we have seen that almost 6 to 7% increase across geographies in rents also. So clearly a great time to buy a property.
Okay. Now, some of the points that you just raised, you've done a survey seemingly. I'm just trying to understand what is the nature of the survey that you've conducted? How many people did you speak to? How many cities in India did you go to with this survey?
So Alex, what we do is we take a two-pronged approach. We have a lot of people on our platforms, almost 1.6 crore registered users on the platform. So we look at their behavior, what they're doing on the platform. And we also do a survey which more than 21,000 people participated from across the top 6 cities in India. And we got data from that. And these two data points we merge, and this report comes after merging these two data points.
Understood. Let's talk a little bit more about the insights that you've derived from these surveys that you've conducted. What about the buyer demographics? Are you seeing a change there? Because as I understand it, you've done this survey and you've spoken to people over the course of a couple of years at least. What is the age group that showcased the most interest?
So we've been doing this survey for almost 4 years now. This is our 5th year. And we have seen that last year we saw a very interesting trend where we saw that millennials, 25 to 40-year-olds, who earlier shied away from owning physical assets or buying properties, they came into the market. I think so COVID changed the behavior drastically for them. And that is the first year when we saw that millennials were coming in huge drove to buy the property. So that continues this year also. We see that almost 33% of buyers are actually millennials. But what is interesting is in this year, we suddenly saw that a new set of customers who are 50 plus in age, they have become very active. They used to be very small earlier, almost 18-20%, but this time almost 34% of buyers are 50 plus. So that's a very, very interesting trend and something which we have seen first time in the last 5 years of doing this survey.
You know, I'm just trying to put a few of the elements that you've put in this report together, and some of them are actually quite interesting to view together, right, Saurabh? Because seemingly more and more people are looking for self-use or purchasing for self-use rather than an investment. And this is interesting because you also have one data point that suggested that 41% of respondents are buying a second home or have bought a home in the past. They're not first-time home buyers. So how do you view all of this put together?
So, Alex, this is very pertinent, actually. I mean, and this time, I would say that the behavior has changed. In the past years, whenever we spoke to people, almost, I think, 8 to 10% people said that they are looking to invest in a property. But this time, 16% people are saying that they want to invest in a property. And you're right, we should look at it in conflation with the other data. So, like you rightly said, that 41% are repeat buyers who already have a property and want to buy a second property, which means that either people are buying it for investment or people are buying it to upgrade. And clearly, like I mentioned earlier, still the majority, 76% people believe that property is the best investment option. So we see that either people are investing or which is an increasing trend. You know, it's almost doubled in the last 1 year. And also a lot of people are upgrading, moving into bigger homes, moving into larger places.
That's exactly what I wanted to speak about next, Saurabh, because it seems that this pandemic has forced a change in the way that people have approached buying and living spaces, right? But what are the responses you've gotten? I think you asked what size of property people would be most interested in purchasing, and I think these threw up quite interesting results in several markets in India, right?
Yeah, of course. So from our own data, where we see what kind of transactions are happening, and also from the survey, we see that from last year itself, post COVID, we are seeing a demand for much bigger houses. So a 3 BHK and upwards are now almost 41% of people are saying they want a bigger house. So which is quite a change from previous years. But I think this has been driven by COVID, where people are seeing that they're working from home or there's a hybrid. The entire family needs place to either work or attend classes. So this is something which we've been seeing, and this is something across cities where we're seeing that the demand for larger homes is increasing.
But specifically in Mumbai, I think that it's a different scenario. I think it's also a factor of the cost of the property, right? But anything in terms of the ability or the desire to increase the budget of a property, people are willing to spend more. What are the trends that you're seeing there?
Yeah. So Alex, you're right. Mumbai is always an exception in terms of house sizes, because one, the property is very expensive. So we see that Mumbai typically has more demand for 1 and 2 BHKs, but we're seeing even that demand is moving from 1 BHKs to 2 BHKs. And that has happened in this year also. The budgets have also increased. So almost 15% people are now saying that they want to buy a property with more than 1 crore of budget. This number used to be 11% till last year, and it was even lower till the year before. And slowly we are seeing that even 80 lakh plus budgets are increasing. So now people are saying that they want larger homes because they're working from home. They're ready to spend more on that. And I think also the fact that 50 plus age kind of audience is also becoming very active, which means that they're upgrading from probably a smaller 1 or 2 BHKs to larger 3 or 4 BHKs. And that has also pushed the budgets higher.
You know, it's very interesting. And I think going back to the demographic question, because you also, I think, asked about the vocation of the people that are looking to buy homes, right? And that also threw up some interesting results. I think in terms of the fact that a lot of techies are looking to now go and buy property. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the largest segment of people who are planning to buy a property are techies and private jobs. And we see that that percentage is also increasing. I think this is also to do with the fact that in the technology sector, the salaries are also increasing fast, and people are able to afford larger houses. Also, there is slight flexibility that people are saying, okay, a hybrid model would be there. So we see that people are okay to also buy bigger houses, maybe on the suburbs. Although, I mean, we clearly saw that 80% people said that distance from workplace has become important again in this year. But clearly, the techies and private jobs are the largest consumer in this segment.
Now, it's really interesting because you have this storehouse of data, and you can actually filter through that and come up with quite a few trends, sort of. But one of the factors that you pointed out in the report also is that the demand for under construction property is dwindling even further. What were the specific results that the survey threw out? And also, what have you learned from your own data points here?
So, Alex, we have been seeing this that more and more people want to buy a ready-to-move-in property. So, almost 78% people are saying that they want an RTMI property, ready-to-move-in property. I think the reason for that is twofold. One, clearly in the past, people have seen delays which were much, much longer than expected, and people have suffered a lot in that. So they've become quite risk averse, and they're saying, okay, we are okay to pay a slight premium, but we want an RTMI property. Also, I think the fact that people don't want to pay the EMIs and the rent together. They're saying, if I get an RTMI property, I don't have to pay rent anymore. So that makes it much, much more easier. So clearly the preference is towards ready to move in properties. And that's the trend across cities, across geographies that we see.
Sorry, it's interesting that you point that out. And certainly the low cost of acquisition of a home loan is also something that a lot of people are talking about, and we have spoken about that on this program as well. But I'm also interested in finding out about standalone units, because I think while the predominant choice is that of a flat in a society, there are also a large number of people that are now looking at standalone units, right? Why do you think that is, and which geographies are you seeing that more prevalent in?
So yeah, we are seeing this trend increasing from last year. I think again driven by the fact that people want larger properties. They believe that they'll be working from home or having a hybrid model. So they want larger spaces where they can probably also relax in between, go out and take a break and stuff. So we're seeing that standalone houses has seen a lot of demand from especially the southern cities of Hyderabad, Chennai and Bangalore. So we see a lot of demand coming for that. And again, I think it's coupled by the fact that people believe even in the medium to long term, they would be in a hybrid or work from home model. And that's why they would want more space and the entire family can either work from home or attend classes from home itself.
You know, I'm curious because your platform is something that I think is changing the way business is also done, Saurabh. But you know, real estate and specifically residential real estate, this is something that a lot of people acquire just once in their lives. And it's certainly something that is very touch and feel oriented, right? So are you still seeing a lot of people taking virtual tours, or is this something that is only a passing trend?
So look, virtual tours is something which has seen a huge adoption in the last 1 to 1.5 years. During the COVID breakdown, when everything was locked up, a lot of people said that, okay, we want to finalize a property only on virtual tours. So that was the first time for us also when we saw that people actually booking homes, buying homes on virtual tour. Now what has happened is over a period of time, people are saying, okay, when I want to buy a home, I want to look at 8 to 10 properties. So rather than visiting all those 8 or 10 properties, I will take a virtual tour for that. Shortlist maybe 2 or 3 out of that and visit those final 2 or 3 and reject the remaining 7 and 8 on virtual tours, and then finalize which one I really want to buy. So we see a huge demand for that, and both the tenants and buyers believe that virtual tour is much better than just static pictures and gives a lot more information, something which basically reduces their effort also, because they don't have to visit many properties, but are able to at least reject, if not finalize something on the app or on the website itself. So we believe it's going to stay, and I think that's what the technology is supposed to do: make your life easier. And virtual tour is one big step towards that.
Absolutely. Saurabh, thank you so much for joining in and for taking us through those trends. Certainly a lot of our viewers that perhaps are in the market will be interested to see that they're not the only ones that are interested in buying property. Always a pleasure speaking to you.
Thanks, Alex.
All right. Now, on that note, we are slipping into a short break, but we've got more on the other side, so do stay tuned.